Naptown Tuner here. This one's gonna be about oil pressure switches. Let's get started. For the record, when it comes to YouTube, I'm not going to be trying until about 2 years from now. So hang with me until then, and we'll get through this together. We'll piecemeal it, even though the quality will be low. That being said, follow me, apprentice. We have oil pressure switches, and I have a socket ready to go. Off the top of my head, I do not have the specifics, as I previously stated about the quality of these videos. We have two different color switches. We have a brown and we have a blue. Let's see if we have an engine to show you where they go before I go to the engine in the car. Right here is your oil filter. Can we get a better view of this? The engine is a little bit sideways, but you see this? This is your serpentine belt automatic adjuster. It takes a 16 millimeter. Right next to this, right below your oil filter, that's where your blue oil pressure switch is. If my memory serves me correctly, and I believe it does, this is more prone to fail than the brown switch. I've got two switches and I'm just gonna replace both of them because I had an oil pressure light, and one of them, I believe off the top of my head, is a low pressure and one's a high pressure. I really could care less. I hope someone in the comments tells me exactly what it is. And then I'll pin it and everyone else can get specifics, that's fine. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna replace both of them in the car right now, and it's dark outside. And I'm gonna find my light. Where did I put it? And I'm gonna try to find it quickly because I don't feel like editing the video. And I just found it. Now, this is the car. When the oil pressure light came on, today, I think, it came on twice. It was the red oil can. It went beep, 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 and it had the red oil can in the center of the cluster. I quickly pulled over. My engine was not making any clatter. I cycled the key. It was fine for about 30 seconds, and the same thing happened. Beep, 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 red oil can. Pulled over again, cycled the key, never came on for the rest of my routine drive, which was about 10 miles. Parked it, cold started it, drove it home, fine. Okay, this happened like maybe 200 drives ago, maybe less, maybe like 150 drives ago, and I just cycled the key and it went away. Most of the time, luckily on this engine, I mean, God, we are stacking up the problems with this thing, so just hang with me. They are good engines. Whenever they're sorted, they're good engines. I'm an advocate for these engines, and we can make them better. So let's all do it together so they don't get a bad reputation like we can't get into it. People are trying to dog on these things, but let's get them all running good. So this is a crazy little oil filter cooler that I put on it. Crazy little thing that I tried because at one point I was towing with this car, and I can still tow with it. It's stage 2 and I put a hitch on it, but I can't get too off topic. We have the brown sensor first. So let's pop it off. All right, did you see that sensor right here? You know how you unclip the sensors? See, that's the brown thing right there. You know how you unclip the sensors? You see this? On this, you actually have to pull the trigger back right here. Let's look at the trigger. You see the trigger wagon when you push that back? Wow, video quality, like horrible. Uh-oh. Possum, possum, possum. Hey. Psst. Is that you, little possum? The things you'll find while working on cars. Okay, back to work. Okay, you pull the sensor apart. Let's get a good view. Okay, back to getting a good view. What I have here is a 24 millimeter. It fits over the socket perfectly. Yeah, we'll just get that one off first. See this hole right here? We can slide it right there, and I'll be right back with a screwdriver. See, this one you can get easily like this with a regular socket, but I'm gonna show you how to get the other one, so I'm gonna get the screwdriver anyway. Be right back. Okay, so I gotta use this for the other one, so I'm gonna use it for this one. Will it fit? I have to pull it back a little bit. I got the wrong size. All right, like I said, I'm not gonna repeat myself. See, this is how you're gonna get the blue sensor out. I just showed you. I gave you a better visual representation, okay? Because, yeah, I could have used the ratchet just then. That one's old, rusty and crusty. I'm gonna put this one in. It's much nicer. It might not be brand new, but it's got less miles on it. And then, can we see? See it? All right. What are we gonna do? This is worst case scenario, because the trigger is in the worst spot. And by worst spot, I mean it's directly against the adjuster. I pulled the trigger back. Okay, first you push these in, then you pull the trigger back, and then you pull out. Those are the 3 steps to disconnecting these connectors, if I wasn't so clear last time as I was distracted from the possum. Now, we get our 24 millimeter. It has to be an impact socket with a little hole, right there. And we stick it right here, okay? And could you fit a wrench in there? Yeah, you probably could fit a wrench in there. Definitely with this socket you could. But I'm showing you the alternative. I'm showing you an easy way. And then that's in there kind of good. I gotta move. And there's a cut. It's gonna happen every single day when you work on cars. Where are we? Right there. Old rusty crusty sensor. This is the blue one. We got the new blue one. I believe this one's brand new. We're just gonna toss it in. Given I wouldn't have cut my hand if I didn't put that big fanciful aluminum cooler on my oil filter, just trying it out. It's hand tight. Now we put, see, remember, it's directly underneath the oil filter. See the wire hanging there? We put the socket back on. See, I got the socket on, but you want to make sure that that hole is accessible. And then we're going to tighten it back up. So if you had a socket that was super tight clearance, you could use this method. You wouldn't have to get your big fat wrench in there. So that's about all as tight as you need it. You don't have to crank it on. So it felt like it was way cranked on. Pull your socket out. Gotta make sure. Limited light. Limited light. So we got our bad one and our good one. So we're gonna go ahead and throw that in. I'm gonna put all these clips together, not edit it too. Dare me not to. Okay, the plug, I mean, at this point you should just be able to reach down there and grab it, and then see it spins. This connector spins. I remember it was clocked bad last time, but guess what? It's clocked completely different now because you just screwed it in. You screwed a different one in. It could have been the same one. It's clocked however it wants to be clocked. You see that little tab on that brown one? That's what you got to kind of find. You got to spin it around until it feels like it's going to slide in. When you're spinning it around, you just have to have it straight and you have to push it in straight. You see that little one pin in there? There was one time whenever I fumbled around and somehow bent it, but I've plugged in hundreds, if not hundreds of these plugs. Okay. Now, that's all there is to it. That is all. Neptown tuner. So the blue switch looks like this with a screen on it, and the brown switch just has a hole. And that is all. 10mm joke this, 10mm meme that. So sick of the 10mm stuff. You know what? For us Audi people, it's a T30. The T30. T30, I've lost so many. To broken bits, to stripped nuts, bolts. Birmingham bridge action. Look at them neon colors. the highway gang. Oh, pastel pink. Rather than not document it, I'm gonna go ahead and document it. I'm on the road, came from Indiana, going to Alabama. I'm in my F350 Super Duty. It's pushing 290,000 miles on it. Had an alternator light, battery light. Turned around, went about 13 miles to the nearest auto parts store. Threw a new alternator on it because 98% of the time it's always an alternator. But someone had already put a plug on it, and then they had already professionally connected the plug, and then they chopped it and reconnected it for some stupid reason. So I messed with the plug, and then I'm looking at all kinds of other wiring. There's a couple solenoids here. One's and I only have like a pair of pliers and a couple other small tools. I have nothing here. There's a couple solenoids here. One of them's a glow plug solenoid. The other one, I don't know yet. I don't know what it is yet. I don't know too much about this truck yet. I've only had it a little bit over a month. I did find the solenoid in front of the glow plug solenoid. I don't know what it is, but supposedly this is a ground wire. It was going to this sensor right here, which you guys are probably gonna laugh at how some of you 7.3 people know this thing like I know a 2-liter Audi engine. But some kind of intake sensor here, and the other side of this wire goes to the valve cover, and it's roasted as well. It still starts and still has a battery light. Okay, also there was no power coming to any of these, no power at the main big fat wire, which is a huge issue. Ultimately I found all the way over here at the starter. See, this is the wire that was roasted off as well. And I called the Ford dealer already, and this wiring harness is obsolete. It ties into a lot of different stuff. It looks like it was probably a pretty pricey wiring harness anyway. But underneath that AC hose there, see, this is where it goes to. And I was able to get this nut off, but this nut will not come off. With my limited tools, I was using a pair of pliers, but it just spins. It's stripped. So maybe that's why it started roasting, because it didn't have a good connection. Whenever the nut is stripped, and it has a tendency to spark out and load out the wire with high resistance. But anyway, this pigtail here, twisted and roasted and all messed up. So basically I have to figure out how to get by with this wiring enough to get me down the road. Have to figure it out, no other choice. No more battery light. Unfortunately, I had dropped the $300 on the alternator. I should have done more investigating first and bought the voltmeter first, but well, now I got an extra alternator. I put this new ground wire on there. I still need to change out the one that goes to the valve cover. I put a new starter solenoid on, so now I got some good clean studs, and then I replaced the terminal that goes to it, and I had good clean copper a little bit further back. So, back on the road. Look at this guy holding everybody up on the highway. Take a nap, you're drunk.